So thanks for joining this demo session. Myself, Hanuma. I have around 9 years of experience into the testing. So around 3 years into Playwright, I have worked, and initially I worked on mainly on the Selenium-based frameworks. So, uh, so may I know each of one of you your background so that I can iterate easily why you need the Playwright framework. Okay. Uh,
Hi, hello.
yes. Yes.
This is PK. Actually, I have around 13 to 14 years of experience. I was
Okay.
into Selenium earlier.
Okay.
Sorry. So there is a break of 1 year now. So due to some
Mm-hmm.
reasons, I'm not working. So that's the reason I'm
Okay.
just planning to switch to Playwright, where in which the opportunities might be more. I mean,
Hmm.
in demand basically, not might be more,
Correct.
to be specific, in demand.
Correct.
So I want to grow myself, my skills to Playwright, where in which I can get into the mainstream. So where like advanced automation can be implemented whenever it's required. So that's the
Yes.
reason I'm just looking into. So actually there is a gap of 1 year, right? A professional gap of one
Hmm.
year. So I want to utilize the course, and I want to know that how many with this course, how many years of experience I can just project it to my profile, so that I can just say that yeah, I have done this, you know.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
I'll give you a points. What are the different points we'll cover in the session, and how much it
Okay.
will be helpful for different years of experience also.
Okay. Hope I answered your question.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
We can't hear you, Shubham.
Yes. So currently, I'm also working on Playwright only. I have around five
Mm-hmm.
plus years of experience, and
Mm-hmm.
previously I've used Java with Selenium.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly I being an automation tester, so I have to develop some scripts, mostly front
Mm-hmm.
end,
Mm-hmm.
automating the web applications.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a few things which I am struggling with. For
Mm-hmm.
example, from the research, or maybe you can call it as self-study,
Mm.
there are some inbuilt locators present in Playwright, right? Like get by role
Mm.
ID,
Correct.
placeholder,
Correct.
all sorts of
Mm.
things. But that using them, I cannot automate the applications. I have to use
Okay.
something called as shadow DOM route.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a different, very new thing to me as compared to
Mm-hmm.
XPath or CSS, or maybe you can use Selector Hub as I was using
Mm.
in the previous organization. So
Okay.
struggling with that a bit, and also um like implementing the scripts in a robust way. Like, so
Mm.
there are different environments, right, in your
Correct.
organization. Staging, this
Mm.
pre-prod, this prod. So
Correct.
I basically wish to execute scripts in such a way, or push them in the repo in such a way that one script should run everywhere just by changing the
Mm.
parameters, and it
Mm.
shouldn't get stuck anywhere. So, the basic using the loops precisely, all sorts of
Mm.
things. So regarding this, I need a lot of assistance. Since Playwright is
Okay.
very new, you don't get much from internet as well. There's just
Correct.
the official website which you can refer
Mm.
to, and there's no shadow DOM route included in that. So
Mm.
that's
Okay.
why, yeah.
Yeah. Good to hear. What about others? Srinivas and Krishna?
Hey, hi, I'm Srinivas. So I have like almost 15 years of experience in testing side. So in the past, I worked in Selenium with Python automation. It's been more than 3 years. So in the current market, we need to have new technology and new automation tools. So I just
Mm.
want to get the Playwright.
Okay. Thank you, Srinivas. Um, can I hear you, Krishna or Hemant? Okay, I think they are facing some audio issues. Let's start the today's session. So good to hear all of you guys. You are from man already having some testing background. So the Playwright framework is growing in the market from past 4 years. So when you take a Selenium, it was started around 2008 onwards. So whatever the question you search over the Google, you might get the answer for that particular challenge which you are facing in the Selenium. But Playwright is it's totally new to the industry. Nobody's adopted much towards their implementation of the frameworks. Why? Because the thing is the resources, and the other one is which is related to the project. So when the project started, people might be used a Selenium framework. When they want to migrate the Selenium framework to Playwright, again it will take a lot of effort for migrating the scripts from one area to another area. So that's why people are still sticking with the Selenium, or else whoever is creating a new implementation or new projects, so they are going with the Playwright as a tool for their implementation because of the flexibilities which is giving by the Playwright. And the other way is, so it supports a different languages. If you are from a different languages, even you can understand the same language and you can learn it. Here we are mainly focusing on the this session Playwright with the TypeScript, where I will give you the from basics to end to end of the scenario, end to end testing cycle of the scenarios. So here, first of all, I'll just give you a demo what is Playwright. Quickly sharing my screen. So you can see my screen, right? So first of all, you are all from automation background. You have all worked on automation already, but I'll just give you a heads up. What is the need of automation? Why we are going with automation? So every day we used to do manual testing and automation testing as well. But the automation testing main purpose is to increase our efficiency and reduce the manual. If we are supporting manual testers, so how many scripts we are increasing the in the automation scope, how much we are utilizing, that is where the automation testing priority comes in. So if you are adding the automation scripts, if you are not running those automation scripts, are not updating on day-to-day basis, then there is no use of maintaining or creating the automation suites. So automation testing is something like increasing the efficiency on day-to-day basis for the testers. So where you can utilize your time other than testing, where you can learn or implement some other new ideas into the testing, automation testing or the testing area. So that's why the automation testing helps you to increase your efficiency and effectiveness of the total coverage and as well as the application. And it will give an additional time for you to utilize that same time in other areas of testing where you are lagging. So that's why most of the people are adapting to the automation. Then, so in the industry we have many automation tools in the current market, but in this market also Playwright is uh, too uh, too growing is too fast compared to Selenium. Selenium took almost 14 years to adopt. Most of the people, it took almost 7 years or 8 years in the late around 15 16. Most of the people started using the play in the Selenium framework. Almost it took 6 or 7 years, but in terms of Playwright, it is not like that. It was released around 4 years back, but from the initial 2 years itself, most of the people start exploring and giving the demos to the clients and getting the approval and migrating their frameworks to the Playwright, or implementing the new framework with the Playwright instead of Selenium, because there are many unknown features which are there in the Playwright by the industry. So in this demo we'll give you that what are the unknown features by the Playwright which is not available in the Selenium. and how it is flexible for the testers to easily learn and implement in their frameworks. So initially Playwright was developed by Microsoft team, but the parent of this Playwright is a Puppeteer. So you should know that what is Puppeteer also. So the Puppeteer is a basic before tool for the Playwright, so which was developed by the Google Chrome team. So there, the total team was migrated. The Puppet team was moved to the Microsoft Edge browser team. So there they have renamed the Puppeteer as a Playwright. Then they additionally added the features for making it is available for all industry experts, and it is easy to learn as well. So why? Because so when you take the industry, so most of the people will use the mainly four specific languages, which is Java, JavaScript, Python, C Sharp. So these are the main four languages most of the industry people will use for the automation or development. So other these four will cover as 80 to 85 percentage of global development forum. The other 15% are all other languages. So that's why these four languages are mainly supported by the Playwright. So these migrations, everything they have done when they moved to the Microsoft. Earlier it was only support by the Playwright with the TypeScript or JavaScript only. And there is a one more thing comes to the any tool, whether it is a free tool or licensed tool. So for any licensed tool, you won't get any data or externally. Everything you have to revert to their official documentation site, and then you have to get the support from the product team. You won't get any support from the external either Google or searching mechanisms. So Playwright is a open source. You no need to pay any extra cost, but license you have to pay an extra cost that is burden to your company. So in this case also it will be useful. Playwright is a open source tool. You can automate the web browsers, and whatever the things you are doing in the daily manual testing or automation testing using Selenium or some other tools, Playwright supports all type of handling the mechanisms, filling the forms, clicking on the buttons and navigating to the pages, and navigating to the windows, alerts, frames, and shadow DOMs. All this support has been derived in the Playwright. Compared to other tools, it was too bit easy in the Playwright. It will be taking care internally how to communicate with the different sets of browsers, and as well as shadow dumps, frames, everything is a bit easy compared to other tools. And there is another feature in the Playwright. It supports API automation as well. So if you take any Selenium or other browser based tools, it comes with only web based support, but in Selenium we'll get the API support as well. So with one tool we can automate both the front end and back end. So that's why people are adapting to the Playwright. And we no need to bother about the dependencies. Everything will be taken care by the Playwright team, and they are releasing the versions very frequently compared to Selenium or other tools, because it's a growing market. Whenever we raise some whenever we struck at some point, we'll raise it as some concern in the Playwright dev repo. So automatically we'll get the answers from the developers how you can achieve that. So if it is not there in the Playwright in the existing implementation, so they will implement very quickly and they will give you to you in the framework. So that's how most of the people are adopting to the Playwright. And as we discussed already, so it supports the different languages, JavaScript and TypeScript, Java, C Sharp, and it supports a major browsers. Major browsers are in the industry. Most of the browsers, Chromium based browsers, most of the industry is being using Chrome, Chromium, and Edge browsers are Chromium based browsers, and WebKit and Firefox are most widely used across the industry. These are the main browsers. So these main wide across browsers are supported by Playwright. So there is a only one tool, one browser which is other browsers which is adopted by the other members of industry, which is Internet Explorer. In the future Microsoft team, they are going to downgrade or depreciate that Internet Explorer, because some of them still government sites are depending on the Internet Explorers. So that's why still Microsoft team is managing that Internet Explorer, or else they will remove that from the repository of the browser repository. Okay, so that's why they came up with the Microsoft Edge browser. So that is also based on the Chromium. So both now it is a competing each other, Chrome and Chrome Edge browser, because both are coming from the backend is a Chromium browser. Chromium is a free licensed browser of open source mechanism. So when it comes to the futures, why we are going with the Playwright? In the Playwright, mainly I have made some differentiations. If you see, so it supports a major browsers in the Playwright. The Selenium also the same way. Uh, so other than the Internet Explorer, everything will be supported by the Playwright as well. And language support, so most of the languages which are used in the industry, those languages, TypeScript, Playwright, TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, C Sharp or .NET, and Java, it is supported by Playwright. The same way in the Selenium also, there is a only extra Ruby is supported by the Selenium. But in the future, they might add the Ruby dependency also in the Playwright as well. And the documentation, so when you take in the documentation, everything, as you said, some of you in the earlier, so everything you have to get it from the Playwright dev official documentation, because most of the people are adopting now. So you won't get the answers in the stack trace or stack overflow for this real-time challenges. But it is a growing economy, so how many people are adopting, so that many answers you will get in the future. So that's why people are migrating to the Playwright, but here it is a little bit lag of documentation. But when you take a Playwright dev documentation, it is too good compared to Selenium. Everything you will get in terms of example how you can implement that particular feature in your project. Okay, so Selenium also the same case, but Selenium has a huge community, extensive community. So when you ask some challenging question over the Stack Overflow or somewhere, you will get a spontaneous answers from different people or different community people, because they might already cross the challenge, they found that solution, they will post that solution to you guys as well. But in Playwright you have that is the challenge currently. You have to explore yourself through the Playwright documentation, through the examples, then you have to implement it. And when it comes to the headless mode is something like where you can when you want to a faster execution, then the headless mode will be useful. So headless mode, in the sense, it won't be visible to the graphical. When you launch the Chrome browser, you will see all the Chrome components and the website is loading, how much time it is taking, everything. But headless mode is something where you won't see visual representation of browser loading or anything. Everything will be handled in the virtually. And so this virtual mode is supported by for all the browsers in the Playwright, but in Selenium it's supported in the Chrome and Firefox. Other browsers won't support the headless mode in the Selenium. So when it comes to the operating systems, it supports all major operating systems: Windows, Mac, Linux. Selenium also supports major, and it additionally supported by the Solaris as well. So when it comes to the performance and speed, Playwright is too fast compared to Selenium. You will see the execution speed comparatively Selenium, it will take a half of the amount. So if you are working on the Playwright, if it is taking 5 minutes for the execution of a single test case, Selenium will take 10 minutes for the total execution. So that's why people are moving towards a Playwright. That is one more feature. So maybe slower than the Playwright. And the browser support, so everything in the Playwright will come as a single npm package, or other way what we can say, if we take a Node.js, we'll get a single package. If you took a Maven projects, it will come as a Maven dependency. So the same way everything will comes in a single package. You no need to depend on the drivers and the browsers which is installed on the browser, which is installed in your system. So everything will be taken care by internally in the Playwright. But in Selenium, everything you have to taking care. So if something is upgrading, the browser version is upgrading in your system through the company's repo, so automatically what will happen is, so you have to you have to upgrade your driver version, and if there is any driver issues which is upgraded, again you have to resolve or you have to update your scripts accordingly with the driver version. But here in the Playwright, everything it will comes in a bundled framework, so it having a browsers and drivers as well. So you don't need to bother about if something is upgrades also, everything will be taken care by the Playwright team. You don't need to bother about what is happening. And we have another one, the major difference is, so if you see the major differences between, so when you take a Selenium, it takes hardly 30 minutes for the script implementation, but when you compare with the Playwright will take only 20 minutes for the script implementation. So when you compare all the parameters compared to Selenium and Playwright having a more additional features. When it comes to the script effectiveness also, Selenium script effectiveness is little bit low, play rate is little bit more. And the pass rate, when you see the pass rate, there is a huge difference, 15% of different, which will take our day-to-day time. Because when you are running 100 scripts over the pipeline on daily basis, when you are monitoring the pipelines on everyday basis, that case, so in Selenium, if you make a hardly 80%, when I say, so 80% in the sense, so there is a 20% of scripts you have to check why it was failed every day, and you have to find the root cause, and you have to give it to the, if there is a defect, and you have to raise it. But just leave about the defect, but script effectiveness and the execution percentage itself, you can reach maximum 80 in the Selenium, but Playwright you can max reach 95% or 100% also, which I achieved in my current project. Almost 95 to 100% we see the pass percentage on everyday basis in the Playwright. So if there is a failures you see on the Playwright, those failures if you fix, you won't see the failure again in the next day. But in the Selenium, sometimes it is having some unknown features or unknown blockages, so due to that it will fail the test cases. So when it comes to the execution, we already discussed, it will take a 10 minutes in the Selenium, but in the Playwright it takes a 5 minutes only for that total execution. And the test analysis, so which is more important for finding or for finding the defects or finding the resolution of the particular test script. So in the Selenium, it is having a feature of you can add a screenshot for the failure where it is failed, and you can trace the logic where it got failed, and you can print the where it is failed. But in the Playwright, everything will be taken care by the Playwright team itself internally. It is having an option of recording, so where you can record the total video session of the total execution. You can see what are the details are populated on page to page, and which page it is failing. You will see the total execution, and you can capture the screenshot of the last page. And there is a tracing mechanism where it will trace all the things internally. What it will check is, so it is having a mechanism of auto wait, where it will wait for the element to be, so for every action there is a things to be validated before doing such action. So if you take a when you want to fill some form, when you want to fill some text box, so the text box, you have to check some conditions where the text box is loaded, and where the text box is editable, and where the text box is visible to the user. So these three conditions, if you want to satisfy in the Selenium, you have to write a around 20 lines of code for maintaining these lines of code where it is failed. But in Playwright, it takes care of internally everything. It will check these checks. Once these checks are passed, then only it will move into the next state. Okay, so that's how Playwright is auto wait concept, and synchronization is comparatively better in terms of more than Selenium in Playwright, more in Playwright compared to Selenium. So that's why people are adopting. So these are the main things compared to Selenium and Playwright, and there is a tech stack which you should know when you want to move to the TypeScript Playwright. Here mainly we'll install the Visual Studio Code, Node.js, Git, and plugins. There are few plugins, so these things will cover as part of these sessions. And when we go to the course content, one second, I'll just copy the URL. So if you see here, we'll cover the introduction again with a lot more details, and we'll do the implementation. I mean the setup in each and every system. Once the setup is done, if you are facing some issues with the VS Code installation or Node.js configuration in your system, I'll take I'll take remote and I will help you. I'll do the setup for you guys if you are facing some issue. But it is a dead easy the implement the setup also. And then we'll go through the Playwright library setup for the project level, and we'll install some plugins for the Playwright in the VS Code, and we'll write first web or API script. Then we'll go for the Playwright runner setup, test runner setup, where we'll showcase what are the different parameters over the Playwright test runner, and how we can run the test cases through this test runner, how it will utilize this test runner setup. And we have a feature called recording in the Playwright. This is more useful comparatively other tools. Even if you take a Selenium, it won't give the reliable XPaths, but in Playwright it gives a reliable locator strategies based on the locate which is available in the Playwright. So here what I used to do is on a everyday basis, I'll in my project, so I'll do the implementation. So whenever my manual testing starts, so I will launch the browser using this Playwright. Then I will start the recording of the session. I will utilize this recording when I am doing the scripting, and there are few things also in the recording which will give the reliable locator at the current time, but it might not work in the future way. So that's why I will change that locators in some other way. Either XPath I will use, or CSS locator, or internal locator strategies which is provided by the Playwright. I will use according to myself. Then we have a Playwright configuration file which will which is having a more configuration features. So here we'll maintain all related to the Playwright configuration, video, screenshot, tracing, and retry where the tests our tests are configured in this particular project. So everything will configured in this Playwright configuration. Then we'll look for the locators. So the locators are something like so here you can pass the XPaths or CSS locators, and you can find the multiple locators, or you can make the conditional based locators as well. And we have a some locator strategies which are available in the locators, Playwright locator strategies, that those are get by role, get by text, get by placeholder, label. So these are different 8 types of locator strategies in the Playwright also. So this will work on the locator strategy which is developed by the Playwright. You won't find these locator strategies in the other tools. Okay, so and the most common actions, filling the text over the text box, and clicking on the buttons, routing to the pages, windows, and as well as frames, and how you can accept the how you can handle the alerts. All those things will try to handle in the Playwright actions and assertions. So if you take any other open source tools, so for assertions you have to depend on other library or other dependency. If you take a Selenium, if you are working on Selenium Java, you might have to include the assertions from the testng or JUnit. If you take uh, other language dependencies, if you take PyTest, you have to depend on the PyTest for the assertions, and Selenium with the PyTest. And if you take C Sharp, C Sharp also an unit is there. If you take a JavaScript, Chai or Mocha will use for the assertion. But in the Playwright, you no need to make any other dependencies for the assertions. Assertions also will be provided by the Playwright single package. So here you can make assertions, whatever. There are more assertions compared to other libraries. You can make your assertions easily compared to other libraries. And we have so these web elements. So the assertions we have mainly, one is a web-based assertions, web element-based assertions, and page-based assertions. And we have something related to the static assertions also, where we need to compare two objects or two uh, elements or the something. So those will work for the static based assertions, but most of the times we'll use the web based assertions and page assertions comparatively static assertions. And we have how we can capture the different element attributes. So I'll go through, so what are the different possible attributes for each type of locator strategy. This will work on the attributes mainly. So if you know the element attributes, you can easily derive the locator strategy for your web element. Okay, and the auto wait concept in the Playwright synchronization mail comes into the picture for any web-based automation frameworks, because without synchronization, if you are not sure how I can synchronize my web page and the scripts, then your script obviously will fail every day. So synchronization most important when synchronizing your script and the page. So here also we have auto wait concept. For auto wait also we have a timeouts. You can fix the static timeouts, and you can override those static timeouts when you are scripting for any specific scenario. So suppose if you set the some static timeout for the overall page loading, so automatically you might have to came across some page might take some more time for the loading. So those things we can override those at the time of for that particular page scenario as well. So, and we have test timeouts and global timeout configuration and static waits. So static waits, in sense, if you take a Selenium Java, it's a thread.sleep we'll use as a static wait. In the node also we have a timeout, set timeout. So what it will do is it will wait for the time to complete that remaining to continue with the remaining execution. So we have a static timeout, static wait also in the Playwright, but we won't use frequently in the static waits because it provides auto wait mechanism. It is very adaptive compared to the static waits, where we'll use the static waits, but where it is a very rare conditions. So, and once these basic functionalities we cover, then we'll cover the helper functions, in the sense utility functions, where we'll write our wrapper classes related to the common task, whatever we are doing in the locators and the actions as well. So instead of direct using these locators at the script level, we'll write our own wrapper locators and the action methods as well, so that when something is renamed or something is changed at the locators or the actions, we just change our wrapper class, automatically it will applicable throughout the framework. But without using these wrapper classes or locator wrappers or action wrappers, what will happen is, if something is changed from the Playwright, automatically everywhere you have to change, you have to go each place and you have to change it. So that's where the wrapper classes will be helpful. Those will be called as a helper methods. And in this mainly we'll focus on the page object model, and for dynamic data we'll use the faker. faker module for generating the dynamic test data, either test or dates or future dates, whatever we want, or data birth. We'll get it through this dynamic test module. And a page object model. So as you already worked on the, most of the people are worked on the page object model, you are aware of that, how we'll implement the page object model. So we'll focus on the page object model in this session. And behavior driven development. So here mainly I will give you two real-time frameworks where you can implement the Playwright framework in a plain standard model, where it's like when you compare with the Selenium test engine model, and the other one is the Cucumber BDD, behavior driven development model. So those two framework we can implement these sessions. Each framework will take a week of session to complete the implementation, and then we'll go for the API testing basics. So in this API testings, we'll cover the major five types of methods which will be used across the industry. Uh, test, I mean, HTTP methods, get, put, post, and delete. Head also will use sometimes. So those things will give you a snippet of code. I will explain it through each of the tests, how you can configure those methods in the different frameworks. And we have a request fixture, how we can configure this request fixture in the Playwright. I will go through it. So this is a base class, like a rest in the, if you take a rest assured API, it will give you a rest assured dot given, right? So here also it will give you a request fixture. So from request fixture we can derive all the methods. And we can derive the mocking mechanism as well. So the mocking mechanism will be used when the development is not completed, you want to test your test scripts. So that case the smoking mechanism will work. So we'll go through one of the script with this smoking mechanism as well. And then database connectivity, this is a single snippet of code. I will give you the snippet of code how you can connect to the database through this Typescript with the database connectivity, not Playwright with the database. And then hooks and annotations. So every framework having a different set of hooks configuration, and grouping the test cases, and filtering the tag based execution for the test. And there is another additional things. We'll cover the GitHub actions. We'll write the GitHub workflows and the Jenkins pipeline for the CI/CD configuration as well. So these things will cover in the session. So if you want any additional things, let me know at the current stage itself, so that I will add for the future. So we are planning mainly 30 working days or max 35 working days, 35 sessions in the sense, 30 to 35 sessions. In these 35 sessions, we'll try to close all the things. Okay, any doubts in this session implementation? If you have anything wants to cover more concepts also, we'll see the scope of the particular one, and if it is beneficial for all the members, we'll add it to the session content as well. Okay, any doubts?
Uh, Hello, BK here.
Yes, 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 BK.
Yeah, yeah, the course content is quite okay and quite impressive. I don't have any issue with the course content. But the point is, if we get into the Playwright for some time, and like for example, as you said, it takes around 30-35, let's be consider roughly around 2 months, right? So if after that, like how many, you said like how many years of experience can I project myself into my profile with whatever you suggest, coming up with the projects and all. So how many years of experience I can show in my profile as a
Okay.
Playwright
Uh,
automation lead
so
or lead whatever.
what you can say in terms of experience levels,
Mm-hmm.
Playwright comes in a 4 years back, right? So you just
Mm-hmm.
mentioned the 2 years max, 2 or 2.5 years. Don't mention as a 4 years or 5 years. You just
Okay.
mentioned 2 or 2.5 years. That is enough for any experience level, because it came 4 years back, right? So there is a
Okay.
POC and everything implementation will start. It took around 1 or 1.5 year. So from
Mm.
last 2.5 years only people are adapting to this Playwright. Even
Mm-hmm.
in these 2.5 years, initial 4 or 5 months, it's like a POC and their client approvals and getting the compliance team approvals. So it will
Mm.
take hardly 4 to 5 months. Then you can say as a 2 years explicitly I have worked on Playwright. But what you can say is I took the lead and I initiated this Playwright framework. You have done the development from the scratch. So this will be taken care for the higher experienced people, because most of the, if you cross 10 years experience, what they will expect is whether you have a scratch implementation knowledge for the Playwright framework. That is where you can showcase your skills, if like architect or lead level.
Okay. Actually, I'm planning to project my profile as a senior automation engineer or automation test lead, whatever. So now
Yes.
I'm coming to, yeah, coming to the interview process. Will they ask about the Java Selenium part also, or JavaScript or Playwright is enough for
Yes,
the interview?
because thing is, when you say Java Selenium, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you are a 11 or 12 years experience, the last 2 years, if you say you have worked on Playwright with some language, what
Mm-hmm.
about the old experience? You worked on almost 10 years in the Java Selenium, right? So these 10 years also they will focus, because most of the interviewers are coming from Selenium background. They are flexible with the Selenium background. They want to
Mm-hmm.
test the Selenium background as well, because you don't know whether you will be directly you are going under the project with a Playwright. Sometimes you go with the Selenium Java also. So that case they will ask these questions as well. So you have to concentrate on both the ways.
Okay, so majorly the interview, I mean, the questions will be on Playwright. You mean to say around 80%
Mm.
and 20% they might ask in Selenium Java also.
Yes,
That way, I
obviously,
mean.
because
Okay. So will they ask about coding from Java perspective or JavaScript perspective? How it
so
is
so the
in
coding
general analysis?
perspective, in coding perspective, if you have any challenges, I mean something like if they give any coding challenge, whatever the
Mm-hmm.
language you are flexible, you can write the coding language in that language. The coding
Okay.
language challenge is mainly for the how you are logically strong. That's why
Okay.
they will ask those the logical questions, or else they won't look at the programming, which program you have written, whether you are
Mm-hmm.
able to achieve that coding challenge or not.
Okay.
Okay.
Coming back to my last question over here. How is the market of Playwright with respect to Selenium? So can we expect
Okay.
little more or more salary with respect to Playwright than compared to Selenium?
Currently there are very less resources uh,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of Playwright comparatively. So when
Mm-hmm.
people are looking for the mainly Playwright, you will get better package. But thing is, in the current market is little bit slow,
Mm-hmm.
because India market is, if you take India market, uh, there are more resources every time when you say for any language or for any tool. But Playwright is a growing tool. How much fast you are grasping the things and you are attending the interviews, and how much you are negotiating the packages, these three parameters will find your package. So what I would say is, if you are more than 10 years of experience, you can quote easily 30 to 40 LPA.
How much? How many years of experience is it?
If you are more than 10 years of experience, if you
Okay.
are
Okay.
going for a company like a product based, as
Mm-hmm.
currently I'm working on a product based company, you can quote easily 30 to 40 lakhs LPA. Okay,
Okay.
but if you are going for a product service based company, you can quote around 25 lakhs, around 25 to 30 lakhs LPA.
Okay. Okay.
So because
I think
there
it's
is
the
a
same
one
thing
more.
is with the. I think it's the same thing with Selenium also, right? So how different
Yes.
Playwright is in the market.
No, see, there is a, don't take it as a negative here, because
Uh-huh.
Playwright is a growing tool, right? So in this market, when you have a Playwright, it's a additional advantage to recruit you. Other than that,
Okay.
it won't take time
Okay.
much, because this is a additional parameter which you can adopt and you can implement the things. Even other people also, they can learn it in a 1 month. There is no much difference, right? If you are a
Mm.
logically strong and if you know the
Mm.
Playwright, that is a additional advantage for your resume.
Okay, okay, yeah, okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Can you add how to debug the code in the curriculum?
Yeah, yeah. We have recorder session, right? In that, I will explain the debugging as well. So it is having a inspecting and recording and debugging as well. Three levels I will cover in that recording sessions.
Okay. Okay. So it mostly covers TypeScript or also
It uh,
JavaScript.
it it covers the TypeScript mostly. So
Mhm.
JavaScript is
Okay.
nothing. So whatever the code you write in the TypeScript, everything will be converted to a JavaScript at the time of execution.
Okay.
So as you know, so everything whatever we write over the JS, Node.js based modules, whether you're writing the code on the Angular modules or you're writing the code on React modules or Express, whatever they write, they will write in the TypeScript. At the end, once the implementation is completed, they will change that TypeScript code into the JavaScript for the execution.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Hello, BK here
Yeah.
again. So, which
Yes.
is in demand is whether a TypeScript or Visual Script in the market with respect to Playwright?
TypeScript or
JavaScript, which is in demand with
so
respect to Playwright?
uh, y- people won't differentiate between the TypeScript and JavaScript. Whoever is
Uh,
knows the JavaScript, they know the TypeScript. Whoever is knows the JavaScript, they know the sorry. Whoever knows the TypeScript, they know the JavaScript. There is no difference between the languages here.
no, 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 no. I'm not asking about market in respect to the market. So, in the projects and all in the market, so which are
E-
usually they adopt in JavaScript or
if they are
TypeScript?
asking for the language based also, they will ask JavaScript or TypeScript.
Okay,
They won't ask a single JavaScript or single TypeScript. They will mention slash any of this because both are dependent tools. One code will be compiled to another one only. So there is no point of saying I know JavaScript, I can write code on JavaScript only. I don't know TypeScript. It's not like that. Whatever the code you are implementing in the JavaScript base, you can rename it to the TypeScript and you can execute that same test in the TypeScript as well. Everything node base engine is node.js. Everything whatever you write scripts on the js, everything will run on the node.js only at the end. So whatever you are writing on the js or ts or cjp or something like that, there are 3 to 4 extensions. Everything will be converted at the end we using js only.
okay. So, are you going to cover cloud part also? I mean, like executing the scripts in
uh,
Sauce Labs and or
no.
Amazon, whatever.
No, no,
You're
no, no.
not covering that.
Because that
Okay,
is a costly infrastructure we don't have. So
okay,
again, we have to maintain everything. So we'll mainly focus on the GitHub pipelines where we'll run our test cases on the Git actions. That is also cloud-based infrastructure. And there is another one, Jenkins, where we'll run our pipelines over the Jenkins. And I can
mhm,
give you the configurations, how you can configure the pipelines over the Azure and the other platforms as well.
okay, okay. No worries. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Shubham this side. I had a
Hmm.
few questions.
Yes.
To be very honest, I'm fairly new to automation. Like my coding
Okay.
language, coding programming knowledge is pretty limited, I'll say. So will we like you will be covering the JavaScript language as well, wherein like from the testing perspective, like the basic concepts or maybe the things which you mentioned earlier, that
Hmm.
how strong is your logical, what do we say, the
So
logical thinking
logical thinking is
abilities and all. Mhm.
different and the programming knowledge is different. First, logical thinking is how you are resolving the problem. then how you are converting that resolution into the programming language. Okay, so here
Okay.
in this course content, mainly I will be covering the JavaScript and TypeScript basic concepts, which is required for the framework implementation, and as well as um, how much is required for the testers. Okay, but we won't cover the total TypeScript or JavaScript.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, any other questions? Krishna or Hemant, if you have any questions or still you are facing some audio issues.
I have a basic question here. Like, I'm completely zero coding guy. So I just made my UG completion, which means from science background, and jumped into some base company, and there I started manual QA, and
Mm-hmm.
it's overall 11 years experience. It's all manual QA along with the Pega testing. So the whole
Sorry,
profile
how much experience?
11 plus 11.8 years.
Okay, into pure manual testing.
Yeah, pure manual, and this one Pega testing.
Okay, okay, fine.
Yeah, the profile completely rounds around the 12 years or 11 years of experience is all about manual testing and Pega testing. So no point like the coding and all. So only panicness is like whether I could understand JavaScript or TypeScript at this level of 11 years with a brand new of coding to learn, or how it goes. I'm not sure. But ultimately, the market is now vasting out the manual QA role at completely. So everybody was looking at the automation front. So that's where I was just trying to understand whether I would be eligible for this. My prerequisites would match for that.
Okay, so your prerequisites will match, but until unless better to join one TypeScript or JavaScript parallelly, so that
Okay,
what will happen is we will mainly focus on the playwright based functionality sessions, and we'll
okay,
cover a small chunks of TypeScript or JavaScript. But when you
okay.
go for an interview, when you want to write or clear the logical round, you should
Mm,
you should be strong in the particular language, one of the language, any of the language. Either you,
got it.
if you are familiar with Java or any other language also, that is fine, but nobody will
Okay,
ask which language you have cleared that logical test.
got it. Yeah, got it, Veera. Yeah.
Yeah. Hemant.
No questions from my side, Hanama.
Okay,
Clear.
fine. Okay, so guys, hopefully, if everyone is good, hope everyone will join on the starting day of the session. Thank you all.